Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for convening us here today. Thank you to our witnesses and to our ranking member. In recent years, communities across the country have been impacted by the spike in ransomware attacks. Last year, as part of the bipartisan infrastructure law, Congress provided $1 billion over 4 years in new grants to improve the cybersecurity of state and local governments. Mr. Edwards, as state and local governments seek to utilize this new funding to strengthen their cybersecurity, how should they prioritize their cybersecurity investments? Do you believe additional support for state and local cybersecurity will be necessary going forward?
Thank you very much for your question. In general, my perspective is that we should look at those systems that have the highest risk to society. And in my perhaps not so humble opinion, that usually falls to these operational technology systems that operate things like power grids, pipelines, and other infrastructure that's critical. I think that both the U.S. federal government and state and local governments have done a reasonably good job of prioritizing what I would call information technology or IT security over the years, right? But we certainly are behind in investing in these protection of these critical systems that are in industrial control system applications or other operational technology applications. I think when it comes to funding for the states, that seems to be a good mechanism that we use in our country to ensure that the state and local governments have the adequate types of programs that they need to run. And I think that cybersecurity is going to benefit, for example, from the cybersecurity language that was inserted into the Infrastructure and Jobs Act and things like that. So I see some positive trends with regards to funding at the state and local level. They do need to, I think, move beyond. Some of the other witnesses talked about going in to do an assessment of a facility or a system. We used to do that kind of on a periodic basis. You'd go in and hire a consultant and do an assessment once a year or once every 3 years, and it would satisfy your compliance requirements. I don't think that we can live in that world anymore. We need to move to continuous visibility so that we know what's happening on those networks at all times, rather than waiting for somebody to come in 2 years to tell us that we were hacked a year and a half ago. Thank you for your question.
No, I appreciate your answer.